Welcome once again to this week's edition of An Irritable Person's Weekly Mailbag, during which I will read to you everything you could have read for yourself Monday through Friday on my Substack, Ask an Irritable Person. Monday. Dear Irritable Person, I used to have no self-esteem. I believed that if people ever got to know me, they wouldn't like me. But I've done a lot of work on myself over the years, and I've come to believe that I might be a worthwhile person. Other people seem to value me, but it sometimes feels new and strange to value myself, which makes me wonder if I'm now overvaluing myself. When it comes to self-esteem, how much is too much? Sincerely, Wavering. Dear Wavering, I can't tell you how much you should value yourself unless you send me a complete set of documents detailing your finances. Self-worth is entirely a function of how much you own in cash and assets, and, if you're an employer, in people. I mean, the word defines itself. Self-worth. How naive you are. From the way you talk, you'd think that you were the one living in an isolated cabin in the woods with virtually no contact with the outside world, and not me. I happen to have enormous self-worth. I don't live like I do because I can't afford a nice beachfront property. I own several, and I rent them out and bank the proceeds. My self-worth is considerable. I just happen to prefer to live in the woods and talk to bears. I am king of the forest, I tell them before I fire buckshot over their heads to drive them off. You said you used to be afraid that people wouldn't like you if they got to know you. Let them know how rich you are. Plenty of people will like you. As far as how much is too much, there is never enough. Keep accumulating. Fill that black, empty pit where suckers think their emotional and spiritual life resides. It will never fill completely, but you can die trying. Sincerely, Irritable Person. Tuesday. Dear Irritable Person, I just had a session with my new therapist. I'm given a new one every year. They're students and they practice on me. I've had 4 so far and they've all been great. And it's pretty cheap too. I'm learning about myself and why I do what I do and how I can do better. Everyone should be in therapy. Medicare for all? Okay. Therapy for all? Definitely. I've seen you mention this in past articles, and I thought you might enjoy hearing from someone else just how right you are. Sincerely, Appreciative Reader. Dear Ass Kisser, thanks, I already knew I was right. What astounds me is that another living human being can realize the truth and speak of it openly. Therapy really has made you a better person. This little advice-giving hobby of mine has shown me, as if it wasn't already painfully clear, how badly everyone on Earth needs psychological help. Everyone except me. I'm fine. The exception that proves the rule. The rest of you are insane to varying degrees. And if you don't think you are insane, well, you need help most of all. If you don't believe me yet, keep reading this blog. You'll come around soon enough. Sincerely, Irritable Person. Wednesday. Dear Irritable Person, you seem like someone who gives a lot of good common sense advice, and my friends tell me I don't have a lot of common sense, so I'm hoping you can help me. There is this training program I want to get into to learn skills that will help me get hired as support staff in a TV writer's room. I live in Hollywood, and my dream is to become a TV writer. I applied last year. A friend encouraged me to apply again, but I'm not sure if it's worth it, given that they've already rejected me once. I think I might know why they turned me down. I was very sharing in my application. They wanted me to tell them a little about myself, and at that time I was a few months into my recovery from substance abuse. I was, and continue to be, very proud of my recovery, and it was very front of mind for me, so I told them about it. I told them a lot about it. TMI? I bet my application stood out, but I didn't get a call back. If I reapply, should I just send in my old essay? Should I swap 2 letters in my name, pretend that it was a typo if I get caught, and write an entirely new essay in the hope that they won't make the connection? Or is there an option somewhere in between, which I'm overlooking? As a former addict, I have a tendency to fall into black and white thinking. Sincerely, Proud, but do I need to tell everyone? Dear Proud, absolutely you should be proud of your recovery, and if you're going to stay in recovery, That means going to meetings with other people in recovery and with your sponsor and talking about your feelings and actions, past and present. A lot of recovering addicts, I've heard, go into fields where their experience is seen as a benefit, working at rehabs or in counseling agencies and such. I've never been in a TV writing room, but it could very well be a place where, if you skip a stone, every other writer you hit may be in recovery, if not active addiction. But before you can get into the room to skip that stone, you have to get your foot in the door. I'd suggest you not lead with, "I'm a recovering addict." Let them find out you can get the coffee order right first. Of course, I've never worked in that industry and I currently live alone in the woods, so there may be gaps in my knowledge, if not my wisdom. Is there anyone reading this who has relevant experience and would like to write in anonymously to share it? Sincerely, Irritable Person. Thursday. Dear Irritable Person, I recently joined a small company. I'm glad for the job. I was out of work for a long time. But I'm a little unclear about the company's policy on sick days. There's no company handbook. We're too small for that. And when I ask my fellow employees about taking a sick day, they get jittery and run away. For this reason, I'm afraid to go to the boss, who seems to live here. I'm asking because I started feeling sick on day 3 of working here, and it's now day 46. This head cold just doesn't seem to be clearing up by itself. What would you suggest? Sincerely, a little Fluey. Dear Fluey, obviously if you're able to stagger into work, then you're well enough to work. Leave your poor boss alone. He has enough problems trying to keep all of you employed and provide excellent value to his customers, all while eking out a modest profit margin for himself. Work till you drop became a catchphrase for a reason. It's not a subtle metaphor. It's a directive. It's a code. It's a way of life. Sincerely, Irritable Person. P.S. I hope you wrote to me during your lunch break, or I'll report you to your boss. Friday. Dear readers, my irritable self is under the weather and plain tuckered out. It takes a long time to make the round trip to my doctor's office from my cabin in the woods, so I'm going to regroup, sip warm beverages, and enjoy the Indian takeout I picked up on my way back to the cabin. Till Monday, Irritable Person. And that's it for this week's mailbag. Look for Irritable Person's weekly catch-up audio mailbag every Sunday. And follow the daily column, Ask an Irritable Person, every Monday through Friday on Substack. Or subscribe. It's free and virtually certain to remain so for the foreseeable future.